Could the device you trust the most be quietly watching everything you do and turning it into data fuel for artificial intelligence? Most people never stop to consider that their operating system might be analyzing every word they type, every document they open, and every conversation they have, all in the name of making them more productive. A huge share of the world's computers now run Windows, and Microsoft has been quietly embedding AI capabilities across Windows 11 that go far beyond simple search or voice commands. Features like Windows Copilot, Smart App Control, and Microsoft's integrated AI assistant now monitor your system activity, access your files, and send data to cloud services without most users understanding the full scope of what is being collected. This is not science fiction. These are production features shipping on hundreds of millions of machines right now, and what independent researchers have discovered about them has triggered investigations from data protection authorities, forced governments to ban their use on official devices, and convinced major corporations to block Windows 11 deployments entirely. Many organizations are keeping over 500 million eligible devices on the now unsupported Windows 10 specifically to avoid these AI integrations. In this video, you will see exactly what Windows Copilot and Microsoft's broader AI ecosystem actually monitor, why leading security experts call them a surveillance framework disguised as productivity tools, and what you can do to protect yourself before these systems become mandatory. Microsoft launched Windows Copilot in September 2023 as the centerpiece of Windows 11's AI transformation, positioning it as an intelligent assistant that lives directly in your operating system. The official pitch was compelling and convenient. Copilot would understand your context, help you navigate settings, draft documents, summarize emails, and answer questions about anything on your screen. The company described it as an everyday AI companion that makes Windows more intuitive and powerful. The system works by integrating across your entire computing environment, accessing any file you can access, monitoring your application usage, and connecting to Microsoft's cloud services to process requests. Microsoft framed this as a seamless productivity enhancement, claiming that AI would respect your privacy while making you more efficient. The company promised it would revolutionize how people interact with their computers, reduce the learning curve for complex tasks, and eliminate the need to search through menus or settings. On the surface, it looked like a natural evolution of personal computing. But what security researchers found when they examined how Copilot actually operates revealed something far more invasive. When enterprise security teams began testing Windows Copilot in corporate environments throughout late 2023 and early 2024, they immediately identified serious data exposure risks. Security firm Varonis published research showing that Copilot could access and potentially leak sensitive information through what they called oversharing vulnerabilities. The AI assistant operates with the same permissions as the user, meaning if an employee has access to salary databases, confidential contracts, or merger documents, Copilot can read and reference all of that information in its responses. The problem becomes critical when users ask Copilot questions that inadvertently expose data to unauthorized parties. A manager asking Copilot to draft an email about team restructuring might receive a response that includes confidential information that AI pulled from restricted HR documents. An executive using Copilot to summarize quarterly performance could see the AI reference unannounced product launches or financial projections that were supposed to remain confidential. Varonis testing revealed that in typical enterprise environments, over 15% of files containing sensitive data are at risk from oversharing when AI tools like Copilot are deployed. The AI does not understand corporate information governance policies, data classification systems, or need-to-know restrictions. It simply accesses whatever the user can access and uses that information to generate helpful responses. Privacy researchers at Mozilla Foundation examined Copilot's data collection practices and found that the system sends queries, context information, and usage patterns to Microsoft's cloud infrastructure. Even though Microsoft claims processing happens securely, the fundamental architecture means your questions, the files Copilot accesses to answer them, and metadata about your computing behavior all leave your device and enter Microsoft's data ecosystem. The institutional response to these risks was swift and unequivocal. In March 2024, the U.S. House of Representatives banned congressional staff from using Microsoft Copilot entirely. The House's chief administrative officer, Catherine Spindor, issued guidance stating that the Office of Cybersecurity deemed Copilot unauthorized for House use due to the threat of leaking House data to non-approved cloud services. The directive ordered that Copilot be removed from and blocked on all House Windows devices. This was not a precautionary measure based on theoretical risks. The House Cybersecurity Office had evaluated Copilot and determined it posed an unacceptable threat to congressional data security. Around the same time, multiple Fortune 500 companies quietly began blocking Copilot deployments after their security teams raised similar concerns. A survey of enterprise security professionals conducted in early 2024 found that 67% expressed concerns about AI tools exposing sensitive information through improper access controls or data leakage. The UK's Information Commissioner's Office told reporters that organizations must conduct thorough data protection impact assessments before deploying AI tools that process personal information, and that companies cannot simply assume these systems comply with GDPR requirements. These were not complaints from privacy activists or technology skeptics. These were institutional decisions made by government cybersecurity offices, corporate security teams, and data protection regulators after rigorous technical evaluation. The European Union's strict data minimization requirements, which mandate that systems collect only the information necessary for specific purposes, directly conflict with Copilot's design philosophy of accessing everything to provide contextually relevant assistance. The real-world implications of these vulnerabilities become clear when you consider who uses these systems and what information they handle. Imagine a defense contractor employee working on classified project proposals. Every technical specification, security clearance detail, and government contract term they review gets indexed by Copilot's context awareness system. If their account is compromised through phishing or credential theft, an attacker gains not just access to files, but to an AI that is already analyzed and can summarize all of that classified information. Consider a lawyer working on a high-stakes litigation case who uses Copilot to help draft legal arguments. Every confidential client communication, litigation strategy document, and settlement negotiation detail becomes part of the data that Copilot can reference. If opposing counsel discovers this through legal discovery, or if the law firm experiences a data breach, attorney-client privilege protections mean nothing when the AI has already processed and potentially exposed that information. Think about a human resources director using Windows 11 who asks Copilot to help draft a performance improvement plan. The AI might reference confidential employee medical records, past disciplinary actions, or salary information that should never appear in the document being created. The HR director might not even notice the exposure because they trust that Copilot understands appropriate boundaries. A financial analyst asking Copilot to summarize market research could receive responses that incorporate insider information, unreleased earnings data, or confidential client portfolios. The AI does not understand securities regulations or insider trading restrictions. It simply uses whatever data it can access to provide the most complete answer. After criticism from security researchers and enterprise customers throughout 2024, Microsoft announced changes to address Copilot's data exposure risks. First, the company introduced what it called commercial data protection, which supposedly prevents user prompts and responses from being used to train Microsoft's AI models. Second, Microsoft added administrative controls, allowing IT departments to disable Copilot for specific user groups or departments within an organization. Third, the company released Microsoft Purview integration, which theoretically allows data loss prevention policies to extend to Copilot interactions. Fourth, Microsoft promised enhanced auditing capabilities so security teams could monitor what information Copilot accesses and how employees use the AI assistant. These sounded like meaningful improvements, and Microsoft promoted them as evidence that the company takes enterprise security seriously. But when security researchers and corporate IT teams tested these protections throughout 2025, they found significant gaps. The commercial data protection setting does not prevent Copilot from accessing sensitive data in the first place. It only claims to prevent that data from being used for model training. The information still gets sent to Microsoft's cloud services for processing. The administrative controls require complex configuration across multiple Microsoft 365 services and do not provide granular control over what types of data Copilot can access. The Purview integration depends on organizations having already implemented comprehensive data classification systems, which most have not. And even when properly configured, it cannot prevent Copilot from accessing data that users legitimately have permission to view, but should not be incorporating into AI-generated content. Security firm Tenable published an analysis in October 2025 showing that Microsoft's security controls for Copilot are reactive rather than preventive. The system allows problematic data access to occur and then relies on auditing to detect it after the fact. This approach fails to prevent the initial exposure, which is exactly what enterprise security policies are supposed to stop. You can take control of these features right now, and the process is more straightforward than Microsoft's complicated settings menus suggest. Start with the most critical action, which is completely disabling Windows Copilot. Right-click the Copilot icon in your taskbar and select Taskbar Settings, then toggle off the Copilot button. To prevent the feature from running in the background, go to Settings, click Privacy and Security, select General, and disable all options related to AI features and personalized experiences. Next, address the broader data collection that feeds Microsoft's AI systems. Go to Settings, Privacy and Security, then Diagnostics and Feedback, and set optional diagnostic data to off. This stops Windows from sending detailed telemetry about your behavior to Microsoft servers. In the same Privacy and Security section, Review activity history and disable the option to let Windows collect your activities, which prevents the system from building a timeline of everything you do. For users who want complete removal of AI components, there are PowerShell commands and third-party tools that systematically strip out Copilot and related features. One widely used open-source script available on GitHub allows you to run administrative commands that remove Copilot packages, disable AI-related services, modify registry entries that control AI behavior, and prevent automatic reinstallation during Windows updates. This requires technical comfort with PowerShell and administrator access, but it provides comprehensive removal that standard settings interfaces do not offer. The script targets specific Windows components that cannot be removed through normal uninstall processes. Your operating system is no longer just a tool that runs applications and manages files. It has become a data collection platform that feeds artificial intelligence systems designed to predict your needs, analyze your behavior, and integrate your entire digital life into cloud services controlled by a corporation that profits from that data. Over time, this quiet shift turns a personal computer into an observation device that constantly learns from everything you do, from the apps you open to the documents you create and the websites you browse. What once felt like a neutral machine on your desk is now part of a much larger surveillance and monetization ecosystem. Microsoft's chief marketing officer told investors in November 2025 that the company plans to make AI integration so deeply embedded in Windows that removing it becomes practically impossible for average users. That statement is not just marketing language, it is a declaration of intent about the future design of the entire platform. That roadmap involves connecting every aspect of your computing experience to AI systems that require cloud connectivity, continuous monitoring, and comprehensive data access. In practice, this means your habits, preferences, and even mistakes become long-term data points that can be stored, analyzed, and reused in ways you may never see or fully understand. The billion users still running Windows 10 despite Microsoft ending support, and the 500 million devices eligible for Windows 11 that refuse to upgrade are making a deliberate choice. They are choosing stability, predictability, and a more limited data footprint over the promise of so-called smart features that come bundled with extensive tracking. They have evaluated what AI-powered operating systems actually mean for privacy and autonomy and decided the productivity benefits do not justify the surveillance costs. That quiet resistance is a signal that many people do not want their everyday work environment turned into a testbed for experimental AI systems. You have two options right now. You can open your Windows settings, follow the steps outlined in this video, and disable the AI features that turn your computer into a monitoring device. That means taking a few minutes to go through privacy menus, turn off personalized experiences, restrict diagnostic data, and shut down integrated assistants that constantly watch what you do in the background. Or you can share this investigation with someone who uses Windows 11 because they deserve to know what their operating system is actually doing before they decide whether to accept or reject these features. Even a single informed decision in a household or workplace can reduce how much data these systems can quietly absorb. Comment below and tell me which option you chose and why you made that decision. Your experience, whether you locked down these AI tools or decided to leave them on, can help others understand the real trade-offs behind the glossy marketing. Next week, we are investigating how smartphone manufacturers are embedding similar AI surveillance tools into mobile operating systems that billions of people carry everywhere. Those devices follow you into your home, your workplace, and your most private moments, which makes their AI monitoring even more powerful and more dangerous. Subscribe so you do not miss it. Your computer should work for you, not report on you, and the same principle should apply to every connected device in your life. Like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to stay ahead of every major tech update.